Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for joining the Extra Care kind of catch-up session with a few of my colleagues from the Extra Care team. I'm very conscious that many of you watch these back, so if you do have a question latterly towards the end, we'll make sure you have the opportunity to feedback after the event, and we'll pick up all your questions thereafter. But without further ado, I shall carry on going through, and then my colleagues will introduce themselves as they introduce their slides. So just a bit of an update on what we're going to cover. I'll do a bit of a review from the Extra Care Resident Forum, although very conscious it's Ian Devereux that does that, but I will do it on his behalf, one of our residents. We'll talk a little bit about resident service charges, the newly introduced people and property visits, how we're kind of getting a bit of assurance on housing quality, antisocial behaviour, which I know is really important, and some of the changes that we've made there. And then finally, we'll finish on financial wellbeing. But if I can just quickly give you an overview of the work that the Resident Forum have been doing. Again, this is chaired by Ian Devereux, one of our residents in Kent. And he has a group of residents that join him every month, I think it is, that kind of go through different things and look at different areas that Extra Care and Housing 21 can improve our services for and communication. But a few of the things that they've been working on, Ian and the Resident Forum have been giving feedback on a range of policy and procedures to make sure they very much have the resident lens on them. We've had a few new members join, but I know Ian would really welcome more members getting involved. So if you do want to kind of get involved and help shaping how Housing 21 operate and the different things that we work on, we'll make sure you have links to get in touch with Ian, and I'm sure he would welcome more residents being involved. In particular, some of the chairs of those resident groups that are in local services, I think is really keen to hear from those groups in particular. They were observed by, we're having a governance review as well. So the group have been observed and watched and to see how we're operating things. So I'm sure they'll get some really good feedback on that shortly. They've been working with us on the consumer standards. There's a new group of residents that's going to help make sure we're meeting that new legal obligation around consumer standards with the housing regulator. We'll talk about service charges, but they've been instrumental in making sure that we improve our communication for residents. And the last one there is they're going to work with the new residents communication manager, Lucy, to help shape how we continue to improve our communication.
Afternoon, everyone. So I'm Tracy Jones, Head of Operational Development for Housing 21 in Extra Care. So I'm just going to give you a quick run through the resident service charge updates. So service charge meetings have now started. They're in full swing and will run towards the end of December. And then letters will follow in and around February 2025 out to residents. New documentation is in place, so thank you to the residents forums supporting us and getting those documents out. So understanding your service charge and rents, including the new frequently asked questions. And then there is an evaluation form this time, which is the first time we've done this. 3 really easy questions, so really promoting getting you to do those forms so that we can take that feedback away for next time. Government national insurance impact on the service charge. So you'll start to see that, and managers and regional managers will be able to give you some more information around this, but it's approximately £800 per employee on the service charge this year because of the impact of that. That includes your manager, assistant managers, cleaners and things like that, activities and handy persons. Sinking funds have been recalculated based on the stock condition surveys for all of the services. And in the main, they've pretty much stayed the same with small increases or decreases. Management charges, they have been increased this year, and that's on a set percentage by Housing 21. Because we've been subsidising these costs previously, just supporting really around that affordability. The new charges do remain low compared to other housing associations, so hopefully you shouldn't feel too much of an impact on that. And then insurance costs for shared owners and leaseholders were previously capped at £100. A Section 20 process has been carried out this year for these charges, and approximately it works out around about £350 per property. So costs have been added for shared owners and leaseholders. Next slide, please. But in terms of some good news, so energy prices, they've dipped this year, ending March 2024. It's meant that service charges collected during that year were based on estimates, and we're about 12 million where we're over on those. So a surplus will be given back as part of the service charges from April 2025. So it's good news for now, but costs will continue to adjust upwards from April 2026. We're quite mindful that we need to keep an eye on this. Non-recovered costs, so Housing 21 haven't been recovering around about £5 million of costs each year that were eligible for housing benefit. And some of these costs, which are a mixture really of contract servicing, renewal of equipment, etc., will be added to the service charges this year from April 2025. But we have made a decision based on the decent home standards and maintaining high quality homes that cyclical decorations, including furniture and soft furnishings, etc., will still be covered by Housing 21 for all rented units. And that comes to about 3.6 million a year that we won't be putting back out onto resident service charges. And then very final point from me is that September CPI, much lower than previous years, coming in at 1.7%. And therefore rent increases for the social rent properties this year will be sitting at around about 2.7%. Any questions, please do let us know and do fill in the evaluation forms. Thank you. I think I'm going to hand over to Joanne now on the next slide.
Hello everyone, so my name's Joanne Kinsella and I'm the Housing Quality and Standard Lead here at Housing 21, and I've just got a few things to share with you today. Firstly is regarding our people and property visits. So in October this year we've launched our new people and property visits, and these are going to be carried out every 6 months, and they'll be provide you the perfect opportunity for you to raise any queries that you might have. So give you a bit of background of what to expect during your visit. It's very much personalised time, so it's your chance to discuss any concerns or issues that you may have. It'll be in the privacy of your own home, so it's fully confidential, and it's that real designated time just for you and that scheme manager. So where you may not get that time usually, this will give you that opportunity to speak to someone on that one-to-one basis. During the visit, we'll be doing comprehensive checks within the property. So our usual checks that we do, so the pull cards, or for those that have the digital systems, we'll be checking them while we're in to make sure that they're safe and working as they should do. And we'll help you with any other issues, any outstanding repairs or other bits and pieces that you might not be sure how to report. So we can go through all of that with you at the property and check for anything and report them for you. There might be some additional support that we identify while we're doing the visits. So we know customers sometimes come to our staff with utility bills or council tax bills, any letters that come through. So again, we can help guide you through what you need to do with them. And it may be that we identify any extra support that you might need as well. So again, it's just that perfect opportunity to be able to help our customers with those issues. As I say, these were launched in October, but if you haven't had your visit yet, you should be contacted very soon. But if you're eager to get your visit and speak to your scheme manager and have them come to see you, then do ask for your appointment if you want it sooner. And just as a reminder, you don't have to wait for these visits to raise any concerns or any repairs. You can go and speak to your scheme manager at any time. So just to ensure you don't have to wait for that, you can go to them at any time. These are just very much personalised time for you. That's it with our people and property visit update. Kris mentioned at the beginning here some assurances about how we assess our housing quality and the services that we deliver. So what we have introduced at Housing 21 is a housing quality standard assessment. This is in addition to all the health and safety and compliance checks that are weekly reported upon and that we can monitor and make sure are happening. This is a separate assurance piece, and this is where our scheme staff will assess fully. There's 79 measures that they assess on, and that's validated by their line manager as well to make sure that they are assessing correctly. It provides us all sorts of assurance and evidence that we're meeting all our regulatory requirements, all our legal obligations, and we've alluded to before, and you may have heard of before, the new consumer standards. So we make sure that we're aligning, we've got all the evidence to make sure that we are meeting those consumer standards. And then there are things that we as Housing 21 want to make sure that we're delivering on consistently, so that we're making sure that our residents, yourselves, are involved actively, that we've got robust management systems in place, and that all that business critical activity is being assessed as well at the same time. So when we do the HQS assessment, it gives an opportunity for those staff to rate what that assessment will come at, that criteria will come out at. And we're aiming for them all to be as an outstanding housing services, and they enable us to recognise where we can improve upon as well. Additionally to that, for our senior management and our senior leaders, we have quarterly quality reporting as well that goes out to them. So this will give them and provide vital insights, helps us analyse any trends that might be going across all our extra care schemes, because we're across the breadth of England. Helps us benchmark against each other, so where some might be doing better than others, and how we can help spot some consistency of how we deliver those services. And it helps us manage any risk as well. So it gives us the opportunity to highlight any of those and identify any risk as well. So as I say, these quality reporting, they ensure that we have oversight that drives us to continuous improvement, and it does help us enhance our overall service standards. And come on the next one. So yeah, we've really wanted to review our antisocial behaviour, our approach of how we deal with antisocial behaviour, and we know this was quite close to the hearts of our residents. We heard that loud and clearly. So we've been invited residents to come and help us review and shape our approach to ASB. So we've got a group of 10 residents that we've been meeting on a regular basis. Many of them have not been involved with any of our scrutiny before, so it's been really interesting for them. And they've really been able to feed into share their experiences and feed in their suggestions to help us shape it. So we're still continuing that work at the moment, but up to now, we have identified a few things that we aren't going to change as a result of that resident group. So we're going to design an ASB toolkit for residents that will help obviously bust some of the myths out there, and it will help really for residents to be able to understand what they have to do and how to report ASB. So I'll give you a bit more clear guidance of what to expect with all of that. We've identified enhancing training for employees, so we're in discussions with an external training provider at the moment to introduce that. Simplifying our processes, because again, we the way we've wrote them out in the past can be quite complex. We're really simplifying what those procedures will be. Want to make it easier for residents to report ASB. So for those that have been asked to do diary sheets in the past, we're not saying that they won't be necessary, but we know they're not going to be necessary every time. So there's going to be some simpler ways of being able to report it. And give you a wide range of ways to report as well, so it's not just one method. So again, we've been speaking to our resident group what those methods should be, and I'm going to introduce a framework for keeping residents formally updated, because again, from the feedback, this was really important to the resident group, that they fed back that be kept updated throughout a case, and important to do so even when there's not really much to update, just so that they know it's still being looked at. So we've been drafting some sections of that at the moment, and we're hoping to finalise that in January, and we'll launch that in the new year. So huge thank you to the residents that have given up the time to really have their input into this review. It's absolutely been vital for us. And just going forward, when I'm sure there'll be opportunities for other reviews that we do for residents to get involved with in the future. So do keep a lookout for those opportunities where you can get involved, because it's been very useful. Thank you.
Hi, So I'm Ashleigh Jarvis, Head of Extra Care South. We want to ensure that all of our residents' safety at Housing 21, whether that be online or in your everyday life. So financial abuse can take a form in many ways. It could be someone stealing your money or your things, someone borrowing money and never giving it back, someone taking your pension benefits or savings to use for themselves, and someone not paying your bills or your rent for you. Remember, don't give your details of any financial information over the phone. Be aware of doorstop callers and never let strangers into your home. Always ask for identification and agree a time when they can call back. Ask for receipts if someone else is shopping for you or paying your bills. And fraudsters are often very convincing and persuasive. If something sounds too good to be true, then it almost certainly will be. If you suspect that you or someone else is being financially abused, don't be afraid to speak out. And this could be to your local housing manager, Housing 21's confidential line, and someone else that you know and trust, the police or social services. Thank you.
Thank you, Ashleigh, and thank you, Joanne and Tracy as well for those updates. I'm conscious, I don't think there are any questions that have come through, but if there are any questions that you have, and I said I know a lot of people watch this latterly, please do raise them. There's an email address on the screen that we'll make sure you have. But if there's any information you think that you would like to share with us as well, or things that you would like us to cover in these sessions, please do let us know. We can cover anything and anything you wish us to. And then finally, just for me, a bit of a thank you to all the people that have taken their time to fill out the surveys recently, the housing surveys that have come out to all the schemes and the care surveys. We're hoping that we'll be able to talk about what those results were and what you've told us at the next meeting, and we'll certainly be doing that locally at your schemes also. But thank you very much for taking the time to do that, and we hope to be back very quickly in terms of summarising some of the things that our residents have said. But on that note, I will leave it there. Thank you again for taking the time to watch live, but also I know you watch this after the events as well. And again, anything you wish to know, please do let us know. But thank you very much, and we'll see you all again very soon.
Bye.